Bada boom! Realest guys in the room. How you doing?
Shut up and sit down.
What's up, guys? Episode 3, Realest Guys in the Room podcast. I am back again. As you know, Rican Wolverine, a.k.a. Mario, here with Josh Too Good Crocker. We're going to break down June 14th episode of Raw. And stay tuned for our recap of The Shield. And we should be having our projections here a little bit later in the show as well. So, let's start it off. What's up, Josh? How you doing this week, man?
I am doing good, man. I'm doing real good. I really enjoyed Raw last night.
Yeah.
I know ratings were down or whatever because for the NBA,
of course,
NBA Finals,
of course.
But yeah, another solid Raw in my opinion.
Definitely,
sure.
Definitely. I mean, they kicked it off strong. They knew they were going up against Game 5. Game 5? Game 6. Game 6, potential game winner, series winner. But they started off strong. New Day immediately hits the ring. One of the most over acts they have. New Day immediately hits the ring, and they go right at it with the Steph Currys, with the Chef Curry 2 lows. Them Jerry Seinfeld Jones. You know what I mean? Like, great start. I mean, I loved it. I loved it. And then, obviously, biases aside, again, Enzo and Cass steal the show. Already.
Bada boom!
Realest guys in the room.
How you doing?
How you doing? No, I mean, seriously, they are just, I mean, they're over. And, you know, for a while there, I was worried that it'd just be over like the New Age Outlaws. But I think they're legitimately over on their own talents now. Not just the opening lines. I mean, the crowd is hot for them when they're in there. Cass is just, he comes across as a monster. And Enzo plays his part, you know? I think it's just, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. And I really loved, this was, you know, one of my favorite segments of the show. It was hilarious. They opened it up with jokes. I mean, even some jokes that kind of caught you off guard. I mean, for a PG show,
they definitely they walked that tightrope.
They walked the tightrope. They walked the line. But I was having a good time. I actually found myself laughing out loud. You know, LOL. But yeah. But no, it was hilarious. Definitely set up some future items between these two teams. I look forward to it.
WWE right now in the tag team division doing exactly what needs to be done. They've got more than just one team on top. They're sharing the spotlight with these teams. It's oddly reminiscent of the Attitude Era when you had all those other teams and all these other factions in there at the same time.
Right. They're
sitting on a gold mine of a feud between New Day and Enzo and Cass. And I think teasing it the way they did was phenomenal. And the Vaudevillains, being as the name implies, the villains, didn't let the crowd have what they wanted. I mean, that crowd during that stare down with Enzo and Xavier Woods, that crowd wanted that. And the Vaudevillains came out and did what they do best, which is draw the heat. You know, and Aiden English got a pretty good singing voice. Pretty good singing voice. You know, I don't know if you feel the same way. You being a professional artiste, you know.
Yeah, he fantastic voice. Fantastic.
No, but they did a good job of taking that heat away and drawing some boos and doing what they're supposed to do.
Sure.
You know, kind of playing up to the crowd a little bit. Then you have the Bullet Club come out, the Club come out, Gallows and Anderson, and just straight up heel. We're gonna beat you. We're coming for the titles. No nonsense. Period. End of discussion. Which set up the segment really nice. That led to a 8-man tag match, as it happens from time to time. Pretty good match. Nothing too spectacular. I think the teams were kind of cautious in how they went about. They didn't want to give too much away before Money in the Bank, but it was a good match. And Kofi took the pin, which WWE being what it is might allude to something that we can cover a little bit later in the show.
I think it was because he was wearing those shoes.
You think it was the shoes?
I think it was the shoes. I think that's why they had him take the fall.
It wasn't the Her Pleasure unicorn horn?
No. It was the shoes. The Steph Curry Chef 2s, whatever you want to call them.
The Jerry Seinfeld.
Those grandma shoes.
The Metamucil 6s.
Yeah, those are the reasons why.
But here's the thing. We can make fun of the shoes all we want. But you and I both knows them shoots are fire. They're hot on the streets. Greenwich, Connecticut, man. I'm just no. All right. Anyway, never mind. He's giving me a look, guys. We're gonna move along. I don't know. Stay tuned because we will talk about the Shield here in a minute. Nothing really else kind of popped out in that first hour, really. All right, because I think the Shield segment kicked off the second hour. I mean, we had a couple backstage segments there.
Yeah, they had the one with Sheamus and Zack Ryder. Mm-hmm. Sheamus, Sheamus playing the bully part. It goes with his character.
It does.
I mean, it's
it feeds off of his character in TMNT.
Right. Right. So it's good for him.
Yeah. I did like the Kane segment back there with Shane and Steph. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Letter of recommendation from someone you may have heard of, his brother, The Undertaker. I thought it was pretty funny that Undertaker has official letterhead, but and Kane's resume.
What do you think the letter of recommendation said?
Something to the effect of, I've known this guy for my entire life. He may have burned down our family's home, but he's persevered through that, and he's a man of high moral fiber now. He's been through hellfire and brimstone to get here, and you'd be hard-pressed to get rid of him.
That's good.
Probably sums it up.
That's good. You got the job.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you. When do I start?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got the job.
Fair enough.
Good job.
We get another Shining Stars promo. Well, whatever.
Why are they on TV? I haven't seen it where you have a bunch of promos or vignettes or whatever you want to call them. Then they have a match, and then they have a bunch of vignettes again. I mean,
and all the vignettes are the same. It sucks so bad.
I don't get it.
I hate it because honestly, Carlito being their cousin and brother, Carlito's pretty good when he was out here spinning in the face of people who don't like to be cool. I don't know what it is with them. They can't connect. I mean, ultimately that's what it is. If you can't connect with the fans, you're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So speaking of connecting, I think Rusev is really connecting as a heel right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Titus was coming out for a match, and Rusev matchka'd him, which was pretty good beatdown. One thing that I took away from that segment, and I don't know if it's just something that just kind of irks me a little bit, but I feel like the people that they're building up to be stars need some type of impactful type finish. Back in the day, you would have seen an attack like that out on the stage on the entrance ramp. Somebody was going to get chokeslammed to the stage, or somebody was going to get hit with some type of impact finisher, as opposed to a submission, which I feel kind of ends the segment a little anticlimactically. You know what I mean?
I got you. I understand what you're saying, and honestly, I didn't. This is one segment that I didn't see, but pretty much you're saying that Rusev attacked Titus O'Neil and finished it with the clutch.
Yeah, the accolade.
Okay.
Titus O'Neil coming out for a match. They never announced who his opponent was, and Rusev attacks him from the back. And you kind of knew it was coming because they went to a weird camera angle, like a weird 3/4 shot of the stage, and then you see Rusev come running out. He beat him up pretty well. He hit him with that kind of leaping super kick type deal that he does, which I think would be a pretty solid, impactful move there, and you leave him there wasted, on the ground.
Well, yeah, my opinion, I guess, would be I think the accolade is a perfect finisher for him. It's a classic. In a setting like that where you attack somebody on the stage and everything, finishing that portion off with a submission isn't really probably the best way to end it. I like it in the ring, but if you're going to attack somebody from behind, I think an impact finisher. I think even his super kick, boom, super kick, done.
Or he's got that umbrage type rock bottom that he does into the back break, something like that. It's just it seems kind of comical to me when they do that. I kind of liken it to like when Chris Jericho put somebody in the walls of Jericho on the announce table. I mean, I get what they're going with, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
So that was really it. I just felt like I needed to share that.
Fair enough.
And then we come to what was the biggest part of the first half of the show, the Shield reunion, which
coming up. Shield reunion.
Exactly.
On the Ambrose Asylum.
Exactly. So, the Shield reunion, they built it up throughout the course of the night. And I actually really liked the segment. I felt like it kind of started a little slow. You know, with Dean kind of joking around there in the background and making these silly faces back there, I thought it started off a little slow. But when the intensity picked up, when Rollins started talking about some of his best memories in the ring, and you already knew he was kind of building up to, and my favorite memory with the three of us in the ring together was when I put that chair to your back. You kind of felt that that's what he was building up to. But after that, it got real. It got intense, and I was completely in love with the segment at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. And I know I say that a lot. I agree. You know, to where it's kind of like, man, Josh, use a different word.
Well, that's why he's too good, because he knows.
I know. So here's what I thought about it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a really good segment. So when he was making that build to when he turned on them, I just like how they had a good balance, and they really capitalized on each other's strengths. You know, Dean Ambrose, he likes to joke around a lot. He's a nice comedy relief. You have Seth Rollins, who just kills it on the promos. And I think they also did good by Roman Reigns by not letting him talk very much. I think, some people might disagree with me, but, Roman Reigns, how everybody wants him to be is don't talk much, be about business, and beat people up.
Yep.
And I think they got that across. I will say this, though. I'm a huge Roman Reigns mark. You know I am.
Yeah.
I loved when you said things got real. I loved the intensity at the end, especially from Roman Reigns. Him on the mic with that intensity, just veins popping out of his neck and just getting angry. I think that's one part that people are just missing. Not just the calm, I'm gonna knock you out, these sorts of things. I think just the aggression is what people need from Roman Reigns.
And you're right, because when he was at his most over, when the Shield was a cohesive unit, when he was at his most over, it was when Dean and Seth were doing talking, and he was the strong, brooding, silent type, the one that would just flip a switch and knock you out, hit you with the Superman punch, hit you with the spear. That's when the crowd was loving him. As they moved over to the more generic, happy-go-lucky, I'm a smiling guy, I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a good guy, but I'm the guy, suffering succotash promos, that's where the fans started to lose interest. He just became a white meat babyface at that point. And, for them to go back and him to get kind of intense there with his words, and the aggression he showed towards Dean was just awesome. Because for too long they've been, we're beer buddies, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
That aggression was awesome. I think it marked what I hope to be a turning point in Roman's character, and going forward something, that he can really build off of. One thing I didn't like from the segment, they still were using it to make Roman look more and more. Seth Rollins putting Roman over. Yeah, man, you are great. You're this, you're that. And I get challenger, champion, you want to make it big fight feel, you want them to be on even ground, especially with the fact that Seth Rollins came back and he was, light years ahead of Roman, it seemed. So I get that, but I still feel like the WWE still shoehorns some way to get Roman over with the crowd. And that's just me nitpicking.
Well, he's the WWE champion. I think that's part of the design. But I liked how it progressed. I loved how it finished. Everybody got a little piece in there. And I love Dean Ambrose throwing that in there, saying, if I win the Money in the Bank,
maybe I walk out with the championship.
Maybe I walk out. Doesn't matter if it's you. Doesn't matter if it's you. It could be my time. So
yeah, it was good.
That was cool.
It was good. I liked it. And then, just kind of piggybacking off of that, he had a backstage segment there with Steph where, maybe a little tease of something. I don't know. That's kind of the impression that I got, where she was like, well, something about being evil is not necessarily a bad thing, or something like that. Which I thought was pretty nice little tease. If they go that route, I'm not sure. We're just gonna run through here real quick. Paige beats Charlotte. Again, it's a women's match, and it still pisses me off. They're not doing anything. They have Natalya sitting on commentary talking about cats. That sums up the match for you. There you go.
And it made no sense.
And it made no sense. Yeah, Paige gets the jobber entrance, and then she wins by using her finisher. Whatever. And it sucks because I like Paige, but Sheamus beating Zack Ryder. That spawned from a previous backstage segment where Zack was making fun of Sheamus being afraid of Apollo Crews. The match was kind of meh. I did like the fact, and my brother actually brought it up. He was over watching with us. It looked like Sheamus had a tuft of black hair on his chest, And I think Zack Ryder uses Just for Men beard and hair and beard, because that's what it was. It was in the shape of Zack's beard, but in the middle of Sheamus' chest. It was pretty funny.
Really? Yeah. I didn't even notice.
I thought it was pretty. Well, the only reason why you can notice is Sheamus pale as all hell.
He's super pale.
Exactly.
Yeah, my wife was talking about. We were watching it last night, and she's like, "He looks like an action figure. I mean, he just doesn't look real with how white this guy is."
Exactly.
Ridiculous.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. And then afterwards, Apollo Crews comes out to a pop, which I liked. I like Crews. I like the fact that he's connecting now. Maybe this leads to more connection with the fans, and he can get a little more over. But he comes out to a pop to make the save after Sheamus starts beating down Zack Ryder a little bit.
And we also see a different side too, a more aggressive side even than when he was at NXT.
Yeah, he's been this guy Smiley. I'm just happy to be here. Let's see some aggression.
Yeah, and that brings up a point, and then we'll move on. When it comes to Apollo Crews, you know what it makes me think about, and I don't know how long this smiley character is going to last. Mm-hmm. It kind of reminds me of The Rock when he was Rocky Maivia, just a happy-go-lucky guy that comes out and it's just, again, like you said, I am happy to be here. And I have a feeling that that's going to grow stale. I hope, and so I hope he continues to develop his character, and I know they want him to be a face or whatever it might be. But that's my only concern, and I'm having those two parallels every time I see him talk. Even when he came to NXT, just his big smiley
and again,
self.
The guy's got $1 million smile.
He does.
I mean, he's got pearly whites whiter than the whitest thing I've ever seen.
He does.
But still, you need to have that depth of character that I don't think he's developed yet. And I think a little more seasoning in NXT, even though he's had his years in the Indies. A little more seasoning in NXT would have done great for his character development and for the character that he could have brought to the WWE. So yeah, I mean that was Apollo Crews. We get another backstage segment with Shane and Kane and Kevin Owens and Alberto Del Rio, which I thought was funny. Owens again steals the show for me because he can do no wrong. He is Bay, forever and always.
I hate that word. Every time, hate it.
So typical backstage mumble jumble. They go at it. Owens takes another shot at Alberto, always talking in Spanish. I thought it was pretty funny. And Shane books a tag team match for later in the night, where if Owens and Del Rio can't win, then they get removed from Money in the Bank, and the Lucha Dragons take their spot.
That was a cool little stipulation.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean,
we knew what the outcome
was going to be regardless, but I thought it was a good stipulation.
Sure.
Cesaro, Zayn. I mean, I'm just going to say two words, and I'm going to turn it over to you. Awesome match.
WWE Network.
There's your plug. No, seriously.
The reason why I say WWE Network is because go on WWE Network, go to their NXT matches, and I mean, didn't they have a match of the year candidate on one of their matches?
They're actually Zayn at the first takeover, I think it was. They had a 2 out of 3 falls match. Yeah. Or was that the second? It might have been the second.
I don't know.
But yeah, it was
great.
Phenomenal. And this match really showed a lot of their chemistry. Mm-hmm. It showed Zayn in a different light. Yes, he's the underdog champion, but man, he pulled some stuff out that I was, I didn't really follow him too much in the Indies as El Generico, but I knew and heard of some of the stuff that he's done. I was impressed. And Cesaro, we already know what he's capable of. That sunset flip powerbomb pin combo, bro. My brother went bat-ape crazy last night watching it. Like he was like, "Oh, look at that!" and like jumped out of the chair. Like, and my brother's not really a wrestling fan first, so for him to do that, man, that speaks volumes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing about the entertainment and pro wrestling and everything. It's just having those wow moments are awesome, and the fact that it finished the match.
Yep.
He hasn't done that, or he hasn't defeated anybody yet with the Sunset Powerbomb. And he's done it a few times before. Every time he's done it, it's been great. I am glad they capped the match off with that and let him finish it.
Well, I felt like that was the perfect way to end it. The only thing now that he needs to do is finish a match with the Blue Thunder Bomb, because he has yet to pin anybody with that. That's the next thing. So we'll see what happens here going forward. Then we break off into Mr. WWE versus Mr. Wrestling Promotion from Nashville that we will not mention. Because that's pretty much how they set up that promo. For 15 years! 15 years, people wondered what if. What if AJ Styles faced John Cena? What if? And now, we're getting that answer. That promo, I was worried that AJ Styles was going to get exposed just because A, it's John Cena, B, it's WWE versus a rival promotion, and C, AJ Styles' probably weakest aspect of his game is his mic work. So I thought he was going to get eviscerated. But he held his own and went word for word with John Cena. I still think Cena came out on top. But it was a great promo. It hit everything it needed to hit. And, I mean, I'm excited probably more so for this match than even the Money in the Bank or the championship match.
Yeah, they're definitely building this match bigger than the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. Do I agree with that approach? No. But they're definitely billing it as a dream match,
yep.
you know, and which is great. Last week, I think AJ fared a little bit better with John Cena as far as the promo is concerned. But this week, it was still a fantastic promo. AJ did hold his ground. But I think John Cena really tore him apart this week. You know, he did mention the other promotions. He just had, you know, he called it the Witch Club with a B, you know. Some people say he said pitch with a P, like Peter, and no,
he said B as in boy.
Yeah. So he did that, and just he was slamming him. He said the club's, you know, full of bull, and then later on he says, get you on a bullet train back to Japan.
Yep.
Because that's where your cojones were left, you know.
Yeah,
so he just needs torn apart.
When Cena's on. I sometimes don't like when he gets into that rapper persona. Sometimes I do. Last night was one of those times where I did. I really did enjoy it. I still think, though, all that being said, AJ's line where he just randomly threw "which a Kmart shopping ass." I thought that was hilarious. Like he gave him the look of disgust and like dismissing it. I thought it was good.
It reminded me of when my brothers picked on me growing up.
Oh, you mean when you wore the Seinfeld's 22s? Oh man, which Kmart shopping ass?
Kmart. So it reminded me of those times where my brothers would just pick on me or make fun of me. Over and over again, and I didn't have anything left to say. Whatever, you know, poop face. That's what it reminded me of, you know, and so it definitely he got his jab in there, you know, he did. It was funny, you know, but it was a great segment.
No, it was definitely good, and I liked how they tweaked it a little bit. He had two contracts to choose from. One was a straight up one-on-one match. And one was a 1-on-3 basic handicap match, basically, is what it boiled down to. And I still feel like, you know, we'll talk about that later when we get to our projections, and we'll talk about the match a little bit more. So contract gets signed, and there was no beatdown or a little rumble that they normally do, which I thought was refreshingly different. We get into Del Rio and Owens versus the Lucha Dragons. You know, cut by number, you know, type of match. Yeah, they had Cesaro in there as a special ring announcer. Was that this one?
No,
that was later. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, basic tag match. You know, it is what it is. Owens wins with the pop-up powerbomb, and you know, it is what it is.
They had their spats.
Yeah.
And then I think Del Rio kicks him in the face at the end of the match.
Yep.
Add a little bit of heat between the two.
Well, of course. I mean, because they need more, right?
Yeah.
And then that brings us now to the main event, where we have Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose fighting for the 373,587th time in the last week, I think. My numbers might be a little off. But the difference in this one, we have a special ring announcer, Cesaro, special ring bell analysis or whatever he does, ring the bell over there in the corner above the Rio. And we have Sammy and Owens on commentary, which I have to say again, Owens ate Sammy's lunch on commentary. I mean, he's just a great talker. Anywho, match is pretty cut and dry. There's little tease of some shenanigans there in the middle. Dean Ambrose wins pretty cleanly over Chris Jericho. You know, the match, whatever. I could do without the match. All that really was a lead up to the post-match beatdown where they go back and forth, shenanigans ensues with each other, and Chris Jericho ends the night holding Money in the Bank, holding the briefcase. So, and then Raw goes off the air from there.
Did you see the tweet? I think it was from NBC with the image of Chris Jericho holding the belt, and they tweeted something like, "And this is the reason why Chris Jericho is not winning
Exactly.
the Money in the Bank."
and I'm glad you bring that up because that's what WWE loves to do. They do that 50-50 booking. So you pretty much know who is not going to win come Sunday, for the most part. You know? Because whoever goes over on the Monday before does not go over at the pay-per-view. So.
And then Jericho, I think, replied back to them, about, "What do you know, you NBC idiots?" or something like that. So,
speaking of idiots, did you guys know that while Chris Jericho may be from Canada or have Canadian roots, he currently resides in stupid Idiotville? Did you know that? I learned that yesterday.
And apparently Dean Ambrose woke up from a nap and decided to come down to the ring, according to Cesaro.
Well, yeah, Mr. Cesaro. He was actually pretty funny, I thought, as a ring announcer.
He was.
He brought a little different thing. Anyway, so now the moment you guys have all been waiting for. We already talked about the Shield. We're going to talk about our predictions for Money in the Bank this Sunday live, only on the WWE Network. There's another plug for you guys. And we've got a couple of pre-show matches here that were announced yesterday, Monday. We've got Corbin versus Ziggler. I'm taking Baron Corbin. I don't think they should kill him any more than they've already done, sticking him with this ridiculous feud with Ziggler, as much as I like Dolph. Thoughts?
I would agree. I would say Corbin takes the win.
All right. Apollo Crews versus Sheamus. Who you got?
I think Apollo gets his win.
Okay.
I think he gets his first kickoff show pay-per-view win.
So the question becomes, and I'm going with Crews as well, but the question becomes, is he the new pre-show stealer? Now that Ryback is gone, are we looking at Apollo Crews as the pre-show stealer?
I hope not. I hope not.
All right. I'm going to kind of go in order in which I think that the matches will run through.
That's fine.
So we've got Rusev versus O'Neal, and I think Rusev wins and he'll retain the championship. I don't think they put it back on him to just to lose to Titus. I mean, Titus came from being suspended, doing nothing, and now he's in a U.S. title match.
Yeah, I think it was more so to get Titus involved in a program,
Mm-hmm.
but Rusev, he's gonna win. I think they should keep him on fire.
The one thing with O'Neal that kind of makes me think maybe is they mentioned that Titus had never had a chance at a WWE title match, single title match during his career, and maybe, and this is just me spitballing the idea here while we're talking, if O'Neal wins, that's when we start seeing more and more of the Make Darren Young Great Again. This is clearly a parody of the Donald Trump Make America Great Again. Titus got the U.S. title, Make Darren Young Great Again, U.S. title. That's just WWE booking the way they would normally do it.
I mean, they could also do that for Rusev too.
True.
I mean, either way, it's a U.S.
Sure, you
title.
got the foreign heel with the makes sense.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. We've got the New Day versus the Vaudevillains versus the Club versus the realest guys in the room. How you doing? Who you got?
I say the New Day wins.
Okay.
I don't think they're ready to take the titles off of them, and I think if they do, it'll be. I know they're billing this Money in the Bank like it's as big as WrestleMania or something, but I think they're going to wait for either a SummerSlam or Survivor Series or maybe a bigger show to have them drop the titles. But that's just my opinion. I know that I don't know if WWE is looking to have them have the record for the longest tag team title reign or something.
Technically, they do.
Well, they combined. So they have the longest combined. But I'm talking about the longest
one time
reign. So I don't know if they're shooting for that, but I just know I think that New Day's taking it. I don't think they're ready to take them off.
All right. I've had honestly the only one that I don't think is going to win is the Vaudevillains, which obviously means they're going to win on Sunday. But in order of what I think is most likely to least likely, I've got the Club winning first, just because the Club comes out here. they're kind of treading water a little bit the first couple of weeks. Then they have the Extreme Rules where they go off on the Usos, and now they're getting some crowd reaction. I think now would be a good time to give them the titles. You know, you've got AJ Styles doing his thing in the main event type picture just on the periphery. Give the Bullet Club the titles and let them run with it. And let's see, maybe now AJ beats John, and you know, maybe some stories get written up on the fly a little bit, but you've got kind of that. So I've got them going over first. I've got New Day pretty much for the same reason you said, the pursuit of history, to get them that the longest reign, and kind of to put off the potential feud with who I think is going third, who would win, who I have ranked third as likely to win, which would be Enzo and Cass. Like I said earlier, that feud is going to be golden. When they pull the trigger, that's going to be one of those matches that they probably would save for a SummerSlam, for a WrestleMania, for a Royal Rumble, one of their big fours, you know. So we'll see how that goes, but that's for all intents and purposes, my prediction is the Club to win the tag team titles. Next, we've got the women's tag match. We got Charlotte and Dana against Natty and Becky Lynch. I mean Charlotte and Dana just because Charlotte lost yesterday. That's my prediction.
Yeah, you can flip a coin and decide mine.
Fair enough.
I say I have it written down as with Charlotte and Dana Brooke, but there's not enough care.
So would you say you're displeased with this whole women's division right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Next, I've got the Money in the Bank match. It's Owens, Zayn, Del Rio, Jericho, Ambrose. Am I missing one? Ambrose, Jericho, Zayn. Those are the faces. Owens, Del Rio, Cesaro. So
I drew a blank too. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait for you to say it because I can't remember.
What you got?
I have your Bay winning this.
Really?
I do.
I love that word.
Hate that word. No, I have Kevin Owens winning. I think they're building him up quite a bit. I think they're giving him a lot of opportunities lately to kind of show a little bit more of himself. So I think he's going to win. I do have a backup though. I think another backup would be Dean Ambrose. Okay. If Dean Ambrose were to win, I don't know if he'll cash in that same night. Mm-hmm. If he wins, I don't think they should cash in that same night. I think that they should hold off on a triple threat Shield match for maybe at least until SummerSlam.
Makes sense.
So, but I say Kevin Owens. If not Kevin Owens, then Dean Ambrose.
Okay.
Or they could pull WWE and have Alberto Del Rio win.
God, don't even put that in the universe, man. I am not about that life. Like I'm off the Del Rio wagon a while ago. I've actually got, and call me a sucker, but I've got Ambrose winning. I think they did just enough to tease me in the right direction. Pause. When it comes to Ambrose winning the briefcase and potentially cashing it in. I don't know. I've got this feeling Ambrose is going to win, but like you said, it would not surprise me for Owens to win, who's been getting massively more and more over. It wouldn't surprise me for Sami Zayn to win. He's got a little momentum going right now after that win on Monday, but definitely Ambrose. I mean, I'm pretty much all in on Ambrose for this one. And we've got Styles and Cena, the match 15 years in the making. What are you thinking?
Man, this one was a little bit more tough for me because, I mean, they can go in multiple different directions. But I think that I'll preface with this. I think that they're going to have more matches with them.
Yep.
And they're going to prolong this. So I really personally think that it almost doesn't matter who wins on Sunday. Mm-hmm. But I'll say this. I think that I think John Cena is going to win.
Okay.
And my reasoning is he's been out for a while, and it's WWE. It's John Cena. Yep. I think they're going to hand it over. If he does win, then I see the club coming out afterwards and handling business. Doing that. If AJ wins, here's my others, because I know we've had, like, who's your definitive... I could also see AJ winning kind of to get the new era kind of
And
launched.
that was kind of what John Cena talked about. AJ Styles is the new face of this new era. Ding. But I'm still the face that runs the place. You know, that was an interesting point, and that made me kind of think about my answer a little more. But you were... I
so,
cut you
yeah.
off.
No, so I say it's not what I want, but I think John Cena's going to take it.
Okay. And I'm in agreement with you with the caveat that John Cena's not going to beat him clean. It's going to be a disqualification loss for AJ Styles, where we're going to see that he's going to go, and the club is going to interfere. That's just kind of how I see it going. They kind of teased it with the whole contract signing for 1v3. I see that happening. I see the club coming out and interfering in this match. Now, that being said, you mentioned something earlier about them trying to build this up to be WrestleMania level or be another Big Four. It would not surprise me if we see the debut of Finn Balor on Sunday. Somehow, some way. He gets involved in the match or post-match. It wouldn't surprise me that happens. Now, and then the storyline will be, well, whose side of the team is he on? You know what I mean? It wouldn't surprise me that. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, the only thing I have for that is I posted on Twitter not too long ago, I think last week, that Finn Balor was advertised for NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn on August 20th, and that's the night before SummerSlam.
And that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't surprise me, but if it didn't happen, it'd be more obvious that he'd come out at SummerSlam.
So, I mean, they have had it to where people would make their debuts, but you still see them do another match or another takeover.
I mean, Sami Zayn
in
the
Dallas.
most recent example in Dallas.
Yeah,
exactly.
so it could be that. So, but I'm really into. I can't wait for Finn Balor.
Yeah,
to come
I know.
I'm excited.
The excitement is real, and just the fact that they've advertised this as the Balor Club, not specifically the club, but they've had the advertisement with the shirts, the Balor Club, makes me think that this could be leading up to something potentially. And then that brings us to our main event. You have the WWE Champion Roman Reigns against the uncrowned champion who never lost his title, Mr. Seth Rollins. Who you got?
I think Roman Reigns keeps it. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
See, I'm kind of thinking that going off of my prediction with Ambrose winning Money in the Bank, and you had mentioned you don't think that if Ambrose does win, he should cash in same night. My whole idea...
I don't think he should.
You don't think? Yeah.
I don't think he should, yeah.
You do not?
Do not.
Okay. My whole ideology behind this pick is Reigns wins, which officially takes Rollins off the main event title picture, or at least in some people's mind. He was a champion that didn't lose his belt. Well, now he got pinned in the middle of the ring. Reigns is the champion, and he pinned the former champion. Boom. That kind of ties up that loose end. That being said, we see Ambrose come out and cash in, and that leads us into that feud to kind of carry us through to SummerSlam, with Seth Rollins kind of lurking in the peripherals. We still don't know what's going on with Triple H. We still don't know what's going on with Authority. You know, Steph kind of tried to distance herself a little bit a couple weeks ago from Seth. But now she's kind of being kind of a bad guy again. Who knows? I think Ambrose cashes in, beats Reigns. That leads us to a Reigns-Ambrose feud going forward. SummerSlam, maybe we get a triple threat. Rollins weasels his way back in, and we get that Shield triple threat.
Yeah.
You know, I still think that should be saved for WrestleMania, for at least another 10 months or so. But if they're building up to a SummerSlam triple threat, that's probably the way they would go.
What about this? If he does cash in at the end of the night, what if everybody's beat up? Roman Reigns is beat up. Seth Rollins is beat up. Dean Ambrose cashes in. And what if he ends up doing exactly what Seth Rollins did to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Does make it a triple threat. Takes Roman out of the equation. Or somehow Roman does something to Seth Rollins to knock him out, and then Dean Ambrose capitalizes on that and actually pins Seth Rollins for the title. That way Roman doesn't really lose it, and then that could cause a little bit more controversy between Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Seth Rollins is still there, and build that to an official.
And that's what I'm thinking. They're just going to have Seth. They'll have Seth somehow find a way to lose, but still come across as pretty dominant.
He's like a weasel,
so he can
He'll just find a way.
He'll find a way, exactly. And you know, I don't think. I don't know. I just think Reigns going over and Ambrose cashing in makes the most sense, unless they decide to go the route Seth Rollins wins. Ambrose this is still under the assumption that Ambrose won MITB. Rollins wins, gets his title back. Ambrose cashes in, and now Roman Reigns still has a claim to a rematch clause because he was the former champ. And they use that rematch clause as the basis to, okay, we'll have a triple threat. You know what I mean? I just don't want them to end up having to play hot potato with the title.
Yeah.
You know?
I think this, like, our discussion right now is a perfect example of the potential that this event can have. Mm-hmm. I think it has the makings of an awesome event. Mm-hmm. Last few Money in the Banks have been great.
Yep.
And I think this has the chance and opportunity, based on the matches listed and the talent involved, it can be great. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really looking forward to it.
And they're hyping it to be great, which makes me believe that they're really gonna try and fire on all cylinders and make this event have a lasting image. You know, be it the next step in the Shield story, because this is going to be the story, you know, that's going to captivate WWE audiences over the course of the next 10 to 15 years. You know, these three guys debuted together. They were talked about as the future of the company from pretty much the very next day that they debuted. They're for the most part, Roman Reigns is the homegrown talent. You had Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins who did their thing in the Indies and came in, and now pretty much homegrown talent now. You know, I'm sure WWE feels that way. These are the three guys that are going to dominate the main event scene over the course of the next 10 to 15 years. This is that next evolution, no pun intended, of that story. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much a wrap on this episode, guys. Find out Sunday live on the WWE Network, like I said, for only $9.99. No credit card necessary. Money in the Bank, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You know, we'll be back. I think we're recording that night. Yeah. Get some follow up in.
So.
I'm saying, you want to put a little friendly wager on who gets the most right, or we're gonna leave it as is for now?
Yes.
Gentleman's bet.
Gentleman's bet. We're shaking hands.
Yep, you can't see it, but it happened. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at RealestGuysPC. Find us online at wix.realestguyspodcast.com.
Yeah, we're actually working on the domain for it. So we should have it at the end of this week. We should have it realestguyspodcast.com.
Stay tuned. I'm sure we'll tweet it out. Hit us up on Facebook. Hit that like button. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We'll have some videos up coming up shortly. You can follow me at Rican Wolverine on Twitter. You can follow Josh at JoshCrocker_. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.